Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
Okay, so quick background. Mr. Brandon has informed me of a general layout of the team, like who's who, general experience with the game, stuff like that. So I know Firehose Mike here is a Masters player, Masters all roles. He's played the game a pretty good amount. I'm probably not going to focus too much on him during this VOD review. I know a lot of the other players. Just a guy is pretty new, hasn't played much of the game. And then the other three, you've played the game before, but you're not a Masters player or anything. So I'm probably going to focus mostly on these four and less so on Mike here, just since he's a Masters player, doesn't need as much help. And also, seeing how this is a 5.5-minute game, I'm assuming you guys are about to stomp this game, and most of the stomping will probably be done by Mike here. So I'm probably going to focus on the other four members of the team primarily. As for who I am, I'm not sure what Brandon's told you. I am a former Grandmaster player. I was for a pretty good while, but I haven't played the game regularly in years, so I'm kind of washed nowadays, and I also don't know any of these new characters. So the two characters on the enemy team, I'm assuming that's their tank and a support or something. No, that's tank and DPS. I do not know what they do, so just full disclosure on that, but I'm sure I'll be able to give some general tips, guidelines, and just stuff like that for some of the newer players here. All right. So I do play a lot of Ana, or I have. That's my most played support by far. So I'm going to start out looking at the Ana here. My second most played support is Zenyatta, so I'm going to go to that next. Other than that, I do play a lot of DPS as well, mostly hit scan, but I play all the DPS players or DPS characters to a fairly high level. So right off the bat here, I can see that your whole team is on the low ground. So your whole team's down here on the low ground, and aside from D.Va here, no one can really get to the high ground. I guess Venture as well. But you're specifically your Ana, the one I was watching, and your Zenyatta, who's all the way over here, and your Bastion should be on the high ground. You can always jump off the high ground if you want to, but you can't just teleport up there because you don't have a movement ability. So I would try and make sure that not just at the beginning of every game like this, but at the beginning of every fight. So every time your team wins a fight, you should be getting in a position for the next fight so you can start it in a good spot. And that good spot is usually going to be high ground. So I would recommend that your Ana probably starts right up here. Same with your Zenyatta and your Bastion as well. Somewhere around here or over there or up on this thing or whatever. But you want to be on the high ground, probably. And you can always drop if it's not a good spot to be in.
Attackers incoming.
Get them off the payload.
Stop the payload.
I keep you up.
Okay, so let's talk about that nade real quick. So right here, D.Va flies in, zones out the Bastion, right? And then you nade the D.Va's back. So right here, I want you to be looking at this pile of people over here, right? Like if you just threw your nade slightly to your right, like on the other side of the cart, if you threw the nade to the right here, that is like a 4-man nade right there. You're probably going to single-handedly win the entire fight just off of that one ability usage. So you want to be looking for that primarily. So when you do use your grenade, number one priority should be anti 1 or 2 or more enemies with the grenade. That should be your number one priority. Number 2 would be save a teammate's life with the grenade. This grenade does neither of those things. So your D.Va is a D.Va. She has defense matrix. She's just flying in. She has full defense matrix. So she's going to back up, use her defense matrix. You can heal her up. She's not in danger. So you can just left click her and she'll be fine. You really don't need to be up this far either if you don't even know what they have. So if they did have something dive related or something, they could just jump on you and you'd explode right here. So that's another reason why you'd probably want to be a little bit further away, playing on high ground, something like that. But the primary thing I want you to focus on is the nade. You want to be looking for antis primarily. Secondarily would be save the life of yourself or a teammate. But if you have to use it for yourself, then you've already kind of messed up. But not the worst nade in the universe, but I just want you to be looking for anti-nades primarily. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see lower rank Ana players making. Zen's getting a little aggressive there, so I'm going to swap to him for a second. So Zenyatta, very similar to Ana with the positioning. You want to be pretty far away. One good thing about Zenyatta and Ana, both of them, as well as a lot of the projectile characters in the game, in fact, I think all of the projectile characters in the game, they do not have damage drop-off. So if you're playing Cassidy, if you're playing Ashe, Soldier 76, all that, they have damage drop-off. So they have like an optimal range, like they can't be too far away, but they don't want to be too close. You know, like there's a sweet spot for them. That is much less the case for the projectile heroes in the game. If you can hit your shots, you can be as far away as you want. It's full damage. So for Zenyatta, you want to be shooting down hallways and dealing damage from far away. Zenyatta does not have any movement abilities. He does not have any self-healing abilities. So he's literally just like kill the other guy before they kill you. So you want to give yourself as much space to do that as possible. You don't want people to just jump on you and surprise you. Your positioning has to be very good as Zenyatta if you want to survive. Or your aim, one of the two, you pick. Preferably both though. So you just want to be really careful about pushing up aggressively like this. You need to either be close to a health pack, close to a teammate that can save you, or just far enough away that the enemy can't get to you that easily. So when you were getting very aggressive there, you were prone to explode in a higher rank. And also the right clicks here, so you're doing a lot of right clicking. So Zenyatta's right click, I don't remember the exact numbers, I used to know them, but long story short, his right click does about 1/3 of the DPS of his left click. So if you're just sitting there holding right click, shooting it, holding right click, shooting it, holding right click, shooting it, versus just holding left click, you're going to do about 3 times the DPS over that period of time with the left click. So if an enemy is in the open, and they're just standing there, they're not in cover, you're not trying to get them as they, come out around a corner, or you're not trying to get them, super, super long range and they're not moving like a sniper and you don't want to peek them for that long, then you don't use the right click. The left click should be your default. You put out way more damage. You'll build your ult way faster because you're doing more damage. You'll be breaking shields a lot faster, all that stuff. So your default should be the left click. You should be focusing on left clicking as much as you can. So I saw the right clicks, and the only real reason that you would want to right click is because you want to burst someone down real fast. And that's obviously only if you hit all those shots. So if you're going to burst them down, you need to charge, 3 or 4 orbs probably, and then hit them all, right? That's when the right click is worth it. But you're only charging 1 or 2 orbs, which at that point it's like you should just be left clicking. Oh, weird, I'm not first person. Awkward. Oh, there we go. It was spacebar, that's the one. You can tell it's been a while. So this right here, very dangerous, walking inside the shield there. So you're Zenyatta. As I was saying, you deal a lot of damage to shields. And the thing about this shield here, you can see, like, it's poking around the corner. Like, you don't need to be up inside of it to, like, get value. You can just sit back here and just shoot the shield and just break it and then just strafe out to the side and you can shoot in if you want to. You don't want to be walking inside a shield like that as Zenyatta. I know your D.Va's there with the defense matrix to potentially save you, and I can't hear the comms, so potentially you could call it out, have your D.Va defense matrix you, but I just don't think that's the play here. Very dangerous. Also, I can see your Bastion is on a crazy flank here. If they turn, you're just dead. Like, you just explode here. So just do be careful of that, because like your team, nobody is in a position to assist you here. So your Ana maybe, but like she could maybe splash you with a nade, but not really. So if their team notices you here, if they just turn, all of them just go, oh, there's a Bastion right here. They just turn left. You just explode before your team can do anything about it. So you want to be flanking a little bit further away. Bastion is sort of like Zenyatta in that he doesn't really have a lot of movement abilities. I know you do have kind of with your bomb, you can knock yourself around a little bit, but it's not quite the same, especially if you're in a small enclosed room like this. You can't really use it to get anywhere. So be very, very careful about these close range flanks with Bastion against their whole team. You could do it against maybe 1 or 2 people if you can burst them down before they see you. But if they see you here first, you are just dead. Just wanted to say that. Okay. So right here, the right click again wasn't very good. I think if you had been left clicking, you definitely could have killed that the DPS right there. He dies anyways. But you do seem to be very, very prone to right clicking, so that is definitely something that needs to be worked on a little bit. Another thing is that you seem to have a lot of downtime. Like you kind of throw out an orb and then you just kind of walk around and look at stuff. Like your main thing with Zenyatta, like the reason you pick him is because of the amount of damage that he deals. So like his healing and his discord is like so minimum effort. You know, you just throw out the orb or swap the orb to someone. It takes barely even half a second to swap it. And then same with the discord orb, you put it on so fast that the value that you provide to the team, since you don't really have that many abilities, is your damage. So you need to make sure you're putting out as much damage as possible. Once again, that's through the left click. So make sure you're left clicking as much as you can, and every moment that you're doing something, make sure that you have downtime. You need to be thinking about how you're preparing yourself to do the most damage that you can in the upcoming fight without risking your life. Emphasis on that, without risking your life. That's the most important thing you can do as a new support player. I don't know how new you are to support, but in general, I think the biggest mistake I see a lot of lower ranked players make is they're too aggressive, or they just heal bot, one of the two. So you want to make sure on Zenyatta specifically that you're not too aggressive, but you are aggressive enough that you can actually deal damage. Because if you're just a heal bot Zenyatta, like you might as well be playing any other character. Yeah, when people are in the open like this, you would deal more damage just left clicking. Yeah, look at Mr. High Flyer here. Where is he? There he is. Okay, just kidding, everyone's dead. So I don't know about using your ability, that's basically like your big escape ability. I don't know about using it like right outside the spawn when you weren't in danger. Now if somebody, like, they all walked out here, you would kind of just die. And then there with your boop, I don't even remember what this ability name is called, but you want to try and see if you can get this guy to come out a little bit more. Like the way that you're going to kill him here, the only way you really kill him here is if he strafes out far enough outside this door that you can boop him into the corner. So you kind of did that a little bit early. If you could have got him into the corner there, maybe you kill him. But since you didn't, good that you use your ability and leave. I guess you're staying to fight. I don't know about this one since like your team is kind of backing up here, and once again their team's pushing up here. So theoretically, like you don't really know where that many of them are. They could kind of just come in here and pincer you, and you just die. So this is kind of a dangerous spot to be in. Just because you did use your big escape ability, you're kind of indoors and sort of surrounded, so not the best position to be in right now. And see, now you're kind of boxed in, you're dead. Nice attempt on the trance to try and save him. Your team did trade 1-for-1, not the worst, still decent, still definitely winnable. I like the left clicks there, doing a good job dealing damage. You are a little aggressive though. Okay. That was a nice nade from your Ana to save you there. So that was not a purple nade, but it was a good like nade that saved the life of your teammate. So that was still pretty good. And kind of same thing that I was saying on Zen for Ana. Whenever your team is full HP, or not full HP, but they're not in risk of dying, or your team's up, you have a pick or two. You should be looking for those moments where your team is safe and trying to thread in some shots that are damaged, because I've been seeing you're focusing a lot on healing, and that's the difference between a good Ana and a bad Ana. Is you're focusing on healing versus a better Ana would be getting healing, enough healing that their team is still alive and able to participate in the fight, but you're also finding time to deal damage. That's where you're really gonna find the difference between lower ranked Anas and higher ranked Anas. I'm sorry, I was kind of just talking, so I just talked right over your death. So let's look at that for a second. So if you notice right now, your diva got demacked during this fight. So you got to be thinking like, I don't have a front line right now, like I don't have a tank. So like your diva, just watch what they do, right? So they're fully aware that they're squishy, the squishiest on the team, and that they can't just frontline because they're a diva, right? So they, play back and they get out of there. They start holding S once the enemy starts pushing in. So here they're like, okay, there's enemies. They're already like back. They're already leaving, and you see how like they weren't out in the open. So you were kind of like over here. So you have to walk across all this area just to get out. Whereas your diva is right on this little corner. They're one step from cover at any moment, so they can just start holding S and just backing up. And you should kind of be doing the same thing as Ana, but not just as Ana, but just in general, you don't have a tank right now, so you need to be giving ground, and because you know you got to be giving ground, you got to be positioning yourself somewhere where you can immediately back up to safety, because you don't have a tank to save you. Once again, this would be something that would be, as I mentioned with the high ground thing, like right after you won that fight, that would have been a good opportunity to get high ground again. And then you would have been up in a safer spot for that. Okay, hold up. Okay. I mean, you took a little more damage than you should have there. Just you were kind of standing still a little bit. But the main thing is the usage of your ability here. I don't really like. The same thing could have been accomplished by taking like one step back in crouching or something. But now you've used your ability. I would probably just walked over to the side, got an orb from your Zenyatta for like half a second, or waited for your shields to recharge, and then you can just go back in with your diving ability here. I don't even know what it's called. So you dive in, hit some people, and then use your dash ability to get out. I think would have been the better play. You just want to be really careful about your using your ability at times that you shouldn't, because you're kind of limiting your options now. Now you can't go in because you have something on cooldown. And I've noticed that this is the second time you've been using the ability in a situation that's like not really the best timing for it. Not that it's a huge deal, it's like a fairly short cooldown, but now like you can't go in. Like right now you could go in on somebody, but now you got to sit here kind of like reloading, looking around. Still good that you can go up here and harass and like now your ability's back. So now you could be going in, but had it been already up, you could have maybe got on this isolated, what's his name, Wu Yang over here. You could have got on him maybe and killed him. Or on the Mercy. And that's the second time, so you did it again. Kind of, you just used the ability up here. Like you were full HP, nobody jumped on you. Now you just can't go in again because like you don't have an ability. So you're just kind of hanging out, not really participating that much. Your diva killed 3, so that's one fight. So I like you're getting high ground here for this next fight. That's good. Let me look at your Ana again real quick. So I'm gonna go bash, and I haven't seen him in a little while. So Bastion is playing a lot safer than a lot of you. However, the thing is he was. But the thing is he's safe, but he's not like participating, Like everyone else is on low ground and like up here. So they're like participating in the fight. Bastion's all the way back here, and he can't really see anything from here. So I appreciate the idea of like he wants to stay safe while contributing, but you want to probably do that from up here, just a better vantage point better line of sight. Up on this corner, he can't really see much. The only thing he can really try and do is what he did is just like, right click a random bomb over there and hope he hits something. So you probably want to just try and scout a little bit more, see where the enemy's coming from before you make a commitment. And then when you did go in, it was a little risky there, just the way you did. So your D.Va's on high ground here, your Ana's behind you, that's decent. But right here, like their whole team is like walking up this side here.
Enemy in my sight.
So you're just getting booty blasted by this dude, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's not like you knew he was going to ult or anything, but it is just a little like you're kind of hanging out to dry here, like you're just in the open. You're not really that close to cover, and your Ana's not really with you, so she can't save you, and your D.Va's up here, so she can't save you. So you're kind of just dead to this guy. Unfortunate. Okay, I do want to talk about him again really quick, just because he was up on the high ground with your D.Va and everything. So let me go back a little further even. So, as I said, good job getting high ground for this fight. Good spot to be when it begins. You can always drop off if you want. You're dealing really good damage right here, shooting down on them. I do not like... okay, that's okay. Not the greatest use of the ability, but okay. Good melee on the Mercy there. Probably should have meleeed the Bastion, but it's okay. They're both dead. Here, very good usage of your ability now. So you just used it to save your life. You were like 20 HP and you used it. So here's something that I wanted to say here when I saw you going in super weak. And this goes for everybody in every role. This is just like a general rule for like how you should play. So you should always be paying attention to how many are on your team that are currently alive and how many on the enemy team are currently alive. And then as the team fight goes on, you should have a running count in your head of how many are alive on each side. I do know that they somewhat recently added to the game, you can make the game make a noise when a teammate dies, and when an enemy dies, it's a different sound, and that maybe that'll help you. But if not, you want to be paying a lot of attention to the kill feed up in the top right, and what colors are up there. So every time a teammate dies, you should be noticing, and that should change how you're approaching the fight, whether you're even or down or up. So right now, your team is up a man. So your Bastion died, and you killed their Bastion and their Mercy, so you were up 1. So right now, your objective should be, as any member of this team, is to contribute in the fight, deal damage, and not die. That's it. Just trade damage for damage, and you have more people than they do, you have more health than they do, you're going to win. As long as you don't do something really stupid, your team just auto wins this fight. So you just want to play safe and contribute. Not so safe that the enemy gets the advantage back. You want to press the advantage, but when you're healthy, right? So that's what you should be doing right now, is you should be playing for your life, making sure you don't die, and contributing in the fight. So alternatively, if you are down someone, so say that their team has an advantage, or you're even. Specifically, mostly if their team has an advantage. So if you were the ones that's down a member, your team needs a hero to win this fight, right? That's when you would go for a play, right? That's when you go for something a little risky, something high risk, high reward, and it's like, okay, if you fail, your team was already losing, so not that big of a deal, you fail. You tried, okay? But if you succeed and you even the score, and now your team is even or up, then now your team still has a chance in this fight. And then it's kind of the same deal when you're even. Like, you go for a riskier play because you're even. But if you're up like you are now, the main thing I'm just trying to say is that you shouldn't be going for anything risky right now, because your team is up right now. And the only way that your team loses this fight is if, say, you die right here, and then your team is now even in the fight, and then they kill another, and now your team's down in the fight. But so, like, you're giving them a chance to come back into this fight by giving them a chance to kill you. So it would be very easy for you to just step back for a second, or even just stay underground for long enough that your Zenyatta or someone can heal you, and then you go in. But I saw you go in, and then you just, like, you went full in with like 70, 60 HP. So just be very, cognizant of that. So right here, yeah, you're 76 HP and you just win it, right? So like it does end up working out, I think, right? Okay, very close. But the point is, you just want to be thinking about how many people are on your team are alive, how many on their team are alive. So your team did win the fight. You want to get back on high ground here probably, but just you just got to be thinking about what the state of the fight is and if how risky of a play you should be doing, what kind of play style you should be going for. I wanted to look at Bastion, but he's not back yet. Let's look at Ana. Okay, I see the Venture going on a big flank there. So the flank was decent. It's a little early, or not early. Sorry, it's a little late because like your team's already kind of like trading fire and fighting almost, and you're like still on the flank. So as long as your team can kite this out long enough and not really take a fight before you get in there, then it's probably fine. But just wanted to point that out. Okay, so your team's doing a decent job of kiting it out, I think. Should be good. And you're coming up behind him here, so yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a good venture roll. And a D-Volt, and they're all dead. I'm assuming that's GG. Okay, that's a good thing to deny, I guess. Alright, I guess I'll just end it there. But I hope somebody learned something.